Record. Is it recording? Yes. Cool. So, hello guys. Welcome to the session, Performance Management, one of the hard skills workshops. And we are really glad to see you on this virtual JNC July National Conference 2020.
Perfect. Hi guys, for those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Sahil Sethi. I'm the LCP of ISEC in Pune, and I will be co-delivering this session along with Sophia.
And my name is Sofia Nadiyevska, and I'm going to be proudly going to be a part of MC 2021 of ISEC in India.
Perfect. So, I mean, before we go ahead with the whole workshop and get into the depth of performance management, let's just understand what performance management exactly means, right? So, performance management is the most important ongoing process of communication between a team leader and a member that occurs throughout the team experience, right? So, in ISEC, at least as an organization, through every single term, we plan to achieve something at the end of our terms, whether it's a membership term or it's a team leader term, right? And performance management is a very important process to ensure that every single member of ours is actually working towards that goal, right? And especially now that everything is going to be virtual, it's important for the team leaders to understand how they can manage the performance of their members in the best way possible, which is what this workshop is going to be about.
Exactly. They say to win in the marketplace, you must first win in the workplace. And this is like super true. Because firstly, we need to make sure that our members, that our employees are in the best conditions possible, have all the needed knowledge, have all the needed tools to perform like super cool. So, and yeah, we do performance management because we want to make sure that through members and teams performance, we can achieve a lot of goals. We can achieve as personal goals of each and every member, as well as ISEC's goals, short-term, mid-term, and long-term ambitions as well.
Perfect. Right. So again, when performance management is something that is used by every single organization, before we go into the ISEC aspect of performance management, I just want to explain how performance management works on a global scale, right? So if performance management, there are 5 main parts that consist or that add up to performance management itself, right? And the first part is planning. So before we actually work towards something, it's important to understand and lay down what is the end goal of my team or my member, right? And which is the most important part, which is the first step called planning. Moving on to monitoring. Monitoring basically means observing our members assigned to them in the best way possible. The third part is developing, right? Now, in ISEC, if we start our work or before we tell our members to do something, we ensure that they are provided the necessary knowledge and the necessary skills to do that particular task, and which is basically what developing means. We ensure that all the members in our organization are taught everything that they need to before they start working on the goal itself. Is rating. Now, throughout the course of the performance management, we need to ensure that we are continuously taking feedback and giving feedback on the work that a particular member does, right? And we need to observe how they work and rate them accordingly and understand whether they're doing a good or a bad job at what they're doing, right? And the last and probably the most important part of performance management is rewarding, right? And at the end of a particular of completion of a particular task, it's important for us as team leaders or vice presidents or presidents to ensure that we reward and recognize the people who have actually carried out the particular task in a very successful way. So when we go to divide performance management, these are the top 5 aspects or categories that we can divide it into.
Yeah. And now let's check this top 5 aspects on the way of continuous performance management. This is an example a lot of companies are using, and we will try to connect it to our 5 ISEC performance management system. So firstly, we are setting the goals. So everything is the same. We are setting goals and objectives just to make sure that we are doing the right things, and everyone knows what he or she is responsible for, which is crucially important because otherwise people won't have that much clarity on where to move. So we are putting personal goals as well as professional ones. What do we want to achieve? Then we are going to monitoring phase. You can see that we are having track goal progress. This is happening like all the time. So ideally we should track it like on weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, and like have something like mid-year reviews, monthly reviews and quarterly reviews. This is something we are also doing in ISIC. And also we are monitoring the development plan of the whole project, on how this is going on, how all the goals we are achieving or know how they are fitting in the general plan. And also we are monitoring the personal development plan. When going to the planning, the huge companies, they are using 360 degrees multi-rater feedback, and I'll explain what is that. This is actually the feedback and the method which shows you, which allows you to have a feedback not from only from your team leader, but also from your co-workers, which means like other team members, but also can be people from other departments which just know how do you perform, and also customers, stakeholders you work with. This is the method which is implemented because of that's how people actually can track better on how they are developing themselves personally as well as professionally. You can track, have a feedback on how good you are as a team player from your co-mates and from your team leader. You can know how well are you in the goal achievements from your team leader, and then you can also know how good you are like in some professional skills like sales or presenting or public speaking from our customers. That's how you will have the way forward towards it as well. Yeah, so with going to evaluate stage, here we have conduct employee, or in our case member, self-assessment, which also should happen because you're the one who knows better, did you achieve something or no, especially when it comes to your personal goals as well as professional ones. It's better to be honest and to see, okay, am I moving to my goal right now? And then also we are having performance scores, which are important for the next phase, which is going to be to rewarding. Then this score is going to be a base for rewarding. And then we are having personal review meetings. So if in monitor phase we have general review, like goals review, teams review. So here we have personal review meeting. And then when it comes to adjust, so we are actually adjusting everything what was reviewed before, and checking how we are going to work on all the feedback, on all the adjustments we did inside of this particular project, or maybe on the next position when it comes to the member to apply for the next position, or to team leader to apply for the next position as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I mean, now that we've spoken about what the performance management consists of, what we need to understand is the importance of performance management itself. And this is probably one of the most vital things that team leaders or probably people management speak about, because this directly impacts two very important things in our organization. One is ISEC's goal achievement itself, right? By ensuring that we have a proper performance management process in place, we ensure that whatever goal our organization is working towards, or our particular LC is working towards, or our team is working towards, is achieved by the end of that term, right? And the second most important thing is that we've always mentioned that membership experience is something that shapes you in the organization, right? And this performance management plays a very, very important role in ISEC membership experience, because we know that to make the best experience out of ISEC, we need to have, it comes from performance results and goal achievement in a team experience, which is why performance management will directly add to or directly relate to a membership development in our organization.
Exactly. So performance management is the process by which team leaders and their members work together to set, track, and review the members' goals and actually the general contribution to organization. And it is also the way of how we in ISEC recognize, identify, and fueling performance. So basically, let's go with two examples. The one example, let's have two teams which are which set goals, and basically everything is clear for everyone, but then one team it's constantly tracking and reviewing the goals, which makes every member of the team accountable towards how we are moving to the goal achievement and generally how we are contributing to the organization itself. And then another team, they are just liking it. So they have super clear goals, they know their KPIs, they know their MLS, but they are never track and never review it. So which means that members of the team will lack some clarity towards how we are moving, and this will influence performance in a really bad way, because everyone needs to be accountable on what am I doing now and how I'm contributing, and is it enough? And with the second example, we can go with, let's have an example that two teams actually set the goals, they track and review. So with we don't have any issues with accountability, but then we see that one team is constantly recognizing their members and then showing showing the best members, the most top performing members all the time, and then another team is just forgetting about this, which also will influence our performance, not really in a good way, because this recognizing is something we really need. So we have a goals, we track it, so we have some scores, but then no one recognizes you when you're doing good or bad. So then actually members, they don't know are they doing good or bad, they just see that they are kind of achieving, but this is not what can show them and what can motivate them to be at their best.
Right. And another important thing about performance management itself is that it is also an important part of our team standards in the performing phase itself, right? So now when we put it exactly into team standards and ISEC processes, these are some of the pointers that we need to keep in mind while delivering performance, or while doing performance management itself, right? So first and most important thing is what your team members need to be provided with during performance management, right? So the first is their PDP, which is their personal development plans, which is basically understanding what do your members want, what are their personal goals that they want to achieve from the organization and by working here, right? And the second is obviously along with that is team standards that every team leader has to deliver to every member of his or her team, right? Again, as I mentioned earlier, that before we start doing any work, we need to make sure that our members are well equipped with every single thing that they need, which is why we ensure that they are given proper education, and also that we work on capacity building for our teams as well, right? And moving on, one very important thing is when we come to performance phase is the job description of a member itself. We need to ensure that the job role of a member is defined, and we are also giving weekly tasks to them to understand their progress and understand how they're working towards that, followed by a target and timeline that they will follow throughout their ISEC term to understand what they want to achieve, right? When they start working, what should you do? Again, as we have been speaking about, this is performance management. Here's how, right? So let's take an example again. Probably you are a team leader right now, and the first thing after giving a task to a member is what you ask is, did you do your task? Right now there are only two options that the member would say. It's either yes or no. If yes, you ask them, did you achieve it? Yes or no, right? If a member said that, okay, I have done the task, then you ask them, did you achieve the expected outcome or not, right? If no, you, as a team leader, instead of shouting at the member or taking it in a negative way, try to understand what happened and provide the member with a new deadline, right? And when the new deadline happens, again, you ask the same question: that did you do it and did you achieve it, yes or no? Next. Right. Now, very important to understand is post if a member tells you that they have completed a task. Now, after the task, complete their task, there will be two options. Either the members have achieved their targets, and either the members have not achieved the targets that they wanted to, right? So what to do with members who achieve their targets? One very important thing that we already mentioned was rewards and recognition. Recognizing the efforts and the hard work put in by members is extremely important for you as a team leader. Once that's done, you need to ensure that that particular member receives more challenges or probably some different work post completion of one particular task, because they need to keep learning new things and keep getting challenges in their experience, right? Post which you need to also review the personal development plan that you set in the very first place and understand whether the work is actually contributing to the personal goals of the member itself. And finally, succession, which basically means you need to also ensure that once a member achieves a certain task or completes a certain role, he or she is working towards the next roles in the organization, applying for the same. Another very important thing that we probably don't deal with in the best way possible is what to do with members who did not achieve their targets, right? So instead of just blasting out and just not listening to them, what we suggest is you try to test the possibilities to find out the bottleneck. You need to actually understand, as a team leader, where is your member going wrong or what are they not doing in the best way possible, and provide feedback to make sure that they make it better, because that's the only way that your members will actually learn from their mistakes and start working towards improving what they're doing.
Yeah, so we would also like to give you some performance management tips in order for you to increase your performance in your teams. But also what we need to mention here, that this is not just like for team leaders to increase the performance of the team, but also for the members to know how to also be able to increase your personal performance and perform better inside of the team. So here you go. Firstly, actively involve your members, and if you're a member, be actively involved and try to involve other members as well. Which actually is super simple when people are involved, when people are constantly on track, when people know everything what is happening in the team and around. They have like more passion towards the goals and the things we are doing. They have more clarity in how we are moving the things forward, and then you just have like more motivation in order like to work and develop yourself and the team and the project itself. So the second one is create a culture of continuous learning. This is important for each and every human being, not just inside of the topic of performance management, but also outside. This is something we need to constantly have, because once you're achieving a goal, once you're making the task, you want to learn more. You need to know, okay, I did this task, how can I like evolve my knowledge in order to do it next time better, like and to achieve even more. So this is the really like space of continuous learning. This is something like what is crucially important, like for everyone and for every team as well. Then create a 360-degree feedback system. I've mentioned before. This is basically the system, one more time, which allows you not just to have one feedback from the person you're working with, like your team leader, or like if you're or if you're a team leader, like from your vice president, but also to have constant feedbacks from the customers we are working with, all the stakeholders, from people from the other teams, and everyone who has kind of attached to you. So then you can evaluate your performance even better, and then you can know what are your strong and weak sides. Then hold regular check-ins and checkouts. This is something which can always make you accountable towards yourself and towards the whole team. So for example, when team members, they see that team leader and all the other team members are doing regular everyday or weekly check-ins, they can you can always see like what is happening and what are the things everyone is working for. So then you keeping yourself more accountable, and you also have like desire to achieve more and more in order like to be recognized. Then establish clear performance criteria and examples. This is something which is crucially needed, as you mentioned as well, like to have clear KPIs, to have MOS, like you need to know what is your target, what will be like your success, and how does it look like at the end. And with examples from previous teams, from previous years, from the same positions. This is also working super cool, because then you can see, okay, maybe I will not do like this, but I will do like that. And that's how I will evolve this even more. And then leave with an action plan. So do not hold a meeting without action plan afterwards, because if you're having a meeting and then you do not have clear action steps, what is happening, like a review, for example, you have like monthly review, or for example, you have just a weekly check on the tasks and on performance, and then you do not have action plan what to do next. So like and how to achieve even more, then this meeting won't be that useful anymore. And we will also like for you to watch a video with some extra tips for from really cool company.
I thought I'd give you what I feel are the 5 that organizations should be using when making real difference. For me, to start with a goal framework. We basically lay out what's the vision of the business, where do you want to go, and then a small number of strategic goals that you, in an ideal world, put on one piece of paper that then outlines, here are the 5, 10, 15 things we really need to sort out as a business in order to be successful. What this will do is that this is then becoming a really powerful communication tool that everyone in the business can understand what the goals are, where the organization is going, and then they can align with this. Once you've done this, the second step is then that you need to define objectives. And for me, this has to be a regular process where you start at the top of the organization and you say, okay, in order to help us achieve our goals, we need to set some objectives. And these objectives need to be clearly defined and then cascaded into the organization. Not necessarily cascaded right from top to the bottom. Sometimes it's better to actually have this as a more natural process where everyone in the organization almost simultaneously defines their objectives, but making sure that they align with the goal framework. The third thing is that we need metrics or KPIs. So we need to measure the results. Measures basically help you to also identify what you mean by some of your objectives. They help you define them, what success will look like. So everyone needs to have metrics. But again, what I see in practice is that lots of metrics are not particularly well designed, where organizations simply measure everything that's easy to count rather than what really matters. So I use a tool called Key Performance Questions, where we go back and say, actually, what is the question you want to have an answer to before you develop indicators? And then you try to define indicators that really help you track your objectives and your goals. The fourth part of a good performance management framework in organizations is to have regular performance discussions. In practice, what I see is that this process is usually very broken, that organizations have these annual performance review meetings where individuals sit with their line managers to go through a script, or you have these personal development reviews. For me, what has to happen is that these meetings have to be done more frequently. So it should really be a weekly or monthly check-in where you have discussions where, again, hopefully the goal framework comes out, where you look at your own objectives and you refine them and you set ambitious goals for the future. And this discussion has to be two-way. We say, okay, this is what I would like to achieve. This is what the company would like to achieve. How do we now align them? How can the manager and the team support you in achieving some of these goals? So these really meaningful, regular discussions about performance. And the fifth part is that we have a good reward and recognition system in place. What I don't mean by this is that we simply align or hardwire some of the indicators that we've designed with a reward system, saying, okay, if you achieve our revenue target, you will get a bonus. This, for me, doesn't work in practice. And what I mean by reward and recognition systems is that you actually have a process where you showcase good performance, where you thank people for their good performance, where you have those regular discussions. You actually say, this is great, let's celebrate success. Between individuals where you have those discussions, but also as a business, you celebrate success. And this is, for me, one of the most powerful ways of rewarding people. And actually, the financial reward should come automatically. You should get paid well for the job you do, but not necessarily for hitting all the KPIs. So these are the 5 things. So when I help businesses improve their performance management processes, we look at those usually in that order, that we start with the goals framework, then set the objectives, then the metrics, then the performance review processes in the organization, and finally making sure that there's a good way of rewarding performance and celebrating success. If you want to know any more about any of this, I have a lot of other videos that are relevant to all of this, and I have lots of articles on my website on all of those topics, so you can dive in and learn a lot more.
So yeah, as we mentioned before, great performance, it's never a luck. It takes a lot of focus, hard work. So make sure that we are focusing on the right things and right like tools to achieve our performance, which always will be our people we are working with. We are bringing our heart to our people and also measuring not only the performance of our teams, but also the performance of each and every individual, and making sure that everyone is achieving their personal goals as well. And then we are actually working hard towards achieving together.
Right. Thank you so much for all the people who actually attended this workshop. We hope that we taught you something valuable today. Just remember that since everything's going to be virtual now and you're going to be handling your teams virtually, it's very important to have a system in place to manage their performance. And we hope that we've given you some direction towards that. And with that, we end this workshop.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.